Their intention was to subvert the SNP. This is sensible, isn't it? Their intention was to subvert the SNP. This is sensible, isn't it?
He's doing a pretty good job.
This is sensible, isn't it?
He's doing a pretty good job.
I'm actually not laughing.
He's had to mute himself because he can't stop laughing in between.
I'm actually not laughing.
This is sensible, isn't it?
He's doing a pretty good job.
It resonates greatly within me.
This is sensible, isn't it?
He's doing a pretty good job.
I'm actually not laughing.
He's had to mute himself because he can't stop laughing in between.
I'm actually not laughing. It resonates greatly within me.
This is sensible, isn't it?
He's doing a pretty good job.
I'm actually not laughing. It resonates greatly within me.
He's doing a pretty good job. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide and time zones are indeed a thing. Can I get an audio in the chat, please? And also, just to let you know, whenever I have guests on, I don't do the normal shout outs and hellos, but I will put your messages up on the screen to recognize that you're here. And with no further ado, I will introduce my guest, my good friend, Sansom Communion. What about you, Chum?
Hello, mate. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's well. It almost seems like 2 minutes ago I was on a stream.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. We're all good to go.
Yep. Yes, we had a Welsh person sort of complaining about the lateness and was trying to explain that you do a stream directly before this, and it takes you a couple of minutes to get yourself sorted out to be ready to come on this, so no worries about that. Which takes me into another matter. A very warm welcome to everybody who came along from Bonnie Lad News with Sansom and Toffee earlier on. Great stream, lads, by the way. And if you're watching my stuff and you don't watch Sansom and Bonnie Lad earlier on this Saturday evening, you're missing out, because if you like my stuff, you'll like theirs. Toffee's asking where the Highlander is. We'll get to that in a minute. We will. Sansom, what else have we got in housekeeping?
Yeah, there's not a lot really. There's just a couple of bits and bobs. It's the usual, but obviously tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, our good friend Ragnar Ironspear on his channel, Ragnar Ironspear channel, Rags and Jack will be having their monthly update with Matt the Angry Bootneck. That's at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And as always, you can catch our good friend John Davidson at 9 o'clock on Tuesdays and Fridays, as and when he feels up to, because he hasn't been very well. But he looked in better fettle last night on the old film stream that we did. That was a good stream. So if you like End of Days, the film with Arnold Schwarzenegger, we had a lot to say about that. It was a good pick by William. So that's pretty much it from my end. I know you like to give your Dave's Waffle House a little bit of a plug. I am sub to Dave Waffle House, but I never managed to catch a lot of his live stuff because he tends to do stuff in an afternoon, doesn't he?
Oh no, he it used to be afternoon. He's now moved to 8:30 pretty much every weeknight, Monday through to Friday. It's actually a very good stream.
The ones I've caught have been excellent. So it never comes up in my. It never comes up in my bloody sprinklers. You know, the little dimblies. Like when I tend to get. I tell you who I get all the time, bloody Academic Agent. If I haven't been on Telegram, he doesn't use Telegram, but he's got his Twitter set up, so these Twitters or whatever it's called goes over to his Telegram. He must do fuck all else during the day, because I like sort of when I'm finished answering people or having a chat with people on Telegram and saying, yeah, we'll do a bit of that or we'll do a bit of that. Once I'm finished, my computer's off, and because I'm not on my computer, my Telegram's not on. So literally go to Academic Agent's Telegram, and there'll be like 3 million messages. So I just literally scroll to the bottom one because it's just, you could never read them all. Right, that's you read. Everybody's read. Everybody's up to date. Happy days. I've not missed anybody. Right, I'm going next day, 6 o'clock at night, to do the same thing. Another 3 fucking million messages. What is he doing all day? You know, he's an academic, but fuck me, he must have thumbs like bloody paddles with all the tweeting or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's total madness. There are some people that just spend their, I don't know how to do it. Maybe they've got admins, maybe they've got minions that are posting for them, but you know, I'm finding it hard enough to deal with Telegram. I went on to Twitter for a nosy last week, and I just wanted to check one thing. I'd seen one person that had a take on something. I wanted to see what they were saying on Twitter. And the next thing I knew, it was half an hour later, and my dinner was burnt. And I'm like, yeah, fuck that Twitter shit. I've got my Telegram. I tend to use my Telegram on my computer. Try not to look at it on my phone. It's just, oh, fuck. It gets mad. But anyway, yes, David Waffle 8:30 every weeknight. You get interacts with chat. There's a points thing going on at the minute, and it's a good friendly chat. And if you want to, it's like, see the stuff that you and Bonnie Ladd and Toffee all covered there earlier, which is definitely necessary, and we need to let people know what's going on and all. If you want a break from all that, the Waffle House is a really good place to go for that. So there we go. The other thing is we are missing a Scotsman. DJ has been very, very busy of late. He sent a message yesterday saying he might not be available. He's got the link. If he does manage to come on, obviously we'll bring him in. And we're also looking out for a spare Scotsman. If there's one about. Yeah, so there you go. That's about all of that with that. I think, is that everything?
Is the foreigner not in the chat yet?
No sign of the foreigner yet.
Should get Toffee on then instead. He can pretend to be a Scot, can't he? He'll come on again now he's had his dogs out.
We need at least a unveiling Scotsman.
Yeah.
We'll accept the foreigner. There's if William turns up or any of the other Scottish streamers turns up, we will definitely bring them in. But I think that's pretty much it. Other than that, the other news from me last talked. Apparently, I've become a rap star. What did you make of it? Did you like the song, Dave?
I thought it was brilliant. I actually enjoyed that stream last week immensely with Al Mack and what's it called?
Justice Kane.
Yeah, that was really good. I like his stuff anyway. I mean, I still can't believe. I mean, I think he's gone up a little bit now, you know, because of the exposure from last week. But I can't believe it was like 26. But before last week, it was like 26. Massively undersubbed.
He is, and he has a Facebook page that has quite good numbers on it, but he's not using it regular, so it doesn't. There's no engagement or whatnot. Well, having said that, I want to talk because my 42 Facebook page has done nothing for quite a while, and I'm going to sort of relaunch that and use that a bit more, and then see if we can bring some people from there over to here, and actually put a little bit of effort into it, just a little bit. Try to grow it a bit.
Yeah, well, it's I think, you know, the production of it. I mean, you know, you speaking the lyrics, and you're very poetical as it is anyway, which is wonderful.
Yeah,
And you've got Al Mack sort of. Did he have a lot to do with the production? Because he's usually. I mean, it sounded like
yeah,
he did to me.
yeah. Oh, here's what happened. I wrote the original poem. Put it on a voice recording, sent it to Al, and there's a lot of the bits that are in the final song but were not in that. And there's bits that were in that are not in the final song. So I sent that over to him. He fired the lyrics over to Justice Kane.
Mhm.
He started working a bit on it. Al did some work on it. Al did all of the production.
He is
also,
god level producer, and he's fucking
yeah,
brilliant.
it is. I seen a video of it while it was doing its final mixing, or something like 36 tracks going into that. That he was mixing all in.
Yeah, and he'll be doing it proper as well, not like a bloody novice like me.
It is. He did all the production. Most of the video is mine. I videoed the stuff around Belfast. I swiped a bit.
Yeah, I was going to say that area looked familiar to me, but I didn't recognize any of those murals. They must have been new.
Yeah, they're new. Those murals are less than 2 years old. That's along Newton Ards Road.
Well, I haven't been there since February 2020, so that'll be why then.
I was coming home from work one night on night shift, and the murals that were there were all there. And I was going back to work that night, and I was going home in the morning. I was coming to work, and all those murals was all painted white. They were all gone. I mean, what the fuck? And they got put on about a year and a half ago. Those murals were all done. So that was good. The other thing is, the murals in that area were very well known on Google Images and whatnot. So because they're new, they haven't populated, so they're a bit new. You know, a lot of people won't recognize those. A bit different. And I did most of the video and swiped a couple of bits off Channel 4 News from the flag protest and threw that all together. But it came out, I'm absolutely amazed with it. Like,
very, very good. Very, very good. But that bloke's catalogue's brilliant as it is anyway. So
yeah,
it's like I say, it was really good, and I enjoyed the conversation. In fact, I tell you something now, I was enjoying it that much, and please don't take this the wrong way, because I had a few beers by then, because I've been on Bonnie Lad stream, and I try to be good. when I'm on my streams, I don't give a fuck. But when I'm on Bonnie Lad stream, I try to be good. And when it finished, I literally sort of absorbed 2 bottles of Champion in very quick succession, and I did have a nice little snifter on the side going as well, and I must have just literally fell asleep in my chair, and I was like, oh, but I caught up at the end, and like I say, you did right. You did right to play it. You should play it again. I would like to hear it. I mean, I don't know if everybody who was in the chat this week was in the chat last week, and you know, if you wanted to play it again, I don't think you get any pushback. I certainly wouldn't mind listening to it again, mate.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to need to check. I think my StreamYard chats have stopped coming through,
right.
so I need to check that. So I might actually. Well, fuck it. I'm gonna.
Well, I've got a couple of stories if.
Right. Well, I'll pull up the video, and while that's on, I'll check and see what the actual channel chat's doing.
All right.
I can
Well, I can
find
see it.
it.
There's plenty of activity in there. Oh, there's Linda just popped in. Hello, Linda. I'll give say hello.
Right. Fuck. This is a bollocks because mine has stopped.
If you click on hide chat and then click on unhide chat, it sometimes resets it.
Right. Where's hide chat? Right. I've got comments, banners, banned, private chat.
I mean, are you on a phone or in a computer?
No, I'm on my computer. It's on the free one, but
it's on the right. It's usually on the right hand side where it has top chat and.
Oh, like on your Facebook, or no, sorry, on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's in the StreamYard.
I never use that shit. I always use YouTube. I just toggle between a YouTube window and StreamYard. All the best chat's done in YouTube anyway because you get the better icons.
Yeah, but how do you then put them up on the screen? Do you put them up on the screen there?
All right, hold on a minute. So you haven't got your comments in the. Oh, I can see that. Yeah, I've got mine. I can see them. So have you got where it says private chat and comments? Has your comments gone, Pete Tom?
Yeah, they've stopped.
Right. Well, you can take yourself out of the stream and come back in, see if that fixes it.
Well, I'll do that. While I'm doing that, I'm going to give you all a little blast of the song. Might as well hype it. Have we got to? Yeah, we've got that. Here we go.
The only thing is, mate, before if you want to pause that, sorry, because I don't want to crash the lyric or anything, but if you do take yourself out and come back in, your video might go down also.
Right.
Be aware.
No, I've been right before, provided there's somebody else in. It seems to be okay.
Okay,
so,
mate.
Right, lads, we're doing Boomertronics here, so here we go. Here's my new song, collaboration with Justice Kane that we've been talking about, and I'm going to try to do some technical shit while this is running.
Exactly. So taking yourself out does take out the video. There you go. But anyway, never mind. You've got me instead. I was just saying when we went on Bonnie Lad's stream, he was talking about one-liners and the one that won the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Now, there was another joke that was a one-liner by a fairly pedestrian comedian. He gets on, "Have I got news for you?" and all that malarkey. So I'll take a vote now. I'll have one in the chat if you want to hear it, and two in the chat if you don't want to hear it. And let me tell you now, it's very subtle, but it's very awful at the same time. So there you go. So let's see how demonic and evil the chat is. So one in the chat if you want to hear it, or two in the chat if you don't want to hear it.
Well,
you can only vote once.
I'm guessing that took the video down, me going out.
It did, mate. Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, yeah. Martin says two, so we can't do the joke then because Martin says two. So.
Oh, and yeah, and it hasn't fixed my chat and StreamYard. What the fuck?
Oh. Never mind.
All right.
Never mind.
I'm going to have to pull up the stream so I can keep an eye on the chat, but I don't think I'll be able to put any comments up on the screen. It went down at the latter half at the end of last week's stream, and whatever the problem is seems to have persevered. What was the video you were going to put on there?
Oh no, I've got just some of the stories from in the month, but
all right, yeah,
you've got the casting vote, mate. Shall I tell it, or it's only a one-liner?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
This is a joke, and this is by a mainstream comedian who does get on Mock the Week and Have I Got News for You regularly. And this was the joke, and it's not something you'll get doxed about, but it is quite subtle and it is quite awful. And he said, I was driving over the Downs the other day. They didn't scream as much as I expected. Anyway, so...
oh, fuck. That was class. That was class. Fuck. Right. I thought you were going to tell the winning joke from The Fringe, which was awful.
Oh, about the cheetah, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Right. 1 second. I'm going to get this other. I'm going to get the YouTube up so
that's a true story. That because this bloke, he's brilliant. He is a master of the one-line. I'll be honest, I can't remember his name, but I could find him. And at one point in his set, because he does a set, and it's literally quick fire. And it's not that Jeremy Vine's brother, whatever he's called, Tim Vine. It's not him, even though he does one-liners. This is a much better set, and he got a ripple of chuckles for something that was a bit low, a bit below the belt sort of thing. And he goes, "Oh, you didn't like that? Gets a lot fucking worse from this point on." And he crescendos with that one, and I thought it was, and because it's like when you hear it, say, "What did he? Oh, shit! Ah!" It's like, you know, the guilty chuckle. Anyway, mate, back to your video. I'll tell you what. We'll do a story and then we'll play the video all the way through. How does that sound, eh? Let me see if I can share my screen. Because this was something that happened not long after we did the last one with our good friend DJ. So let me see if I can get this badger up. Here we go. This is from the world's favorite newspaper. That's what they say, not necessarily what I say. So there you go. So we all know this particular police officer, and she insisted on arresting a minor. So here we have the world's favorite newspaper here. And the story is peed off PC channels Cressida vibe, because she's got the old short back and nasty's haircut, as these types do. And the picture inset here says PC Melanie Colic was crestfallen when her hero Cressida Dick resigned under a cloud in 2022, shortly before the lockdown ended and Putin cured COVID in 48 hours. And the story goes, West Yorkshire saw the arrest of a minor today, which is amazing because there haven't been any minors in Yorkshire for over a decade. PC Melanie Colic, insert, said she was arresting the minor, Percy Grabnut, 74, after hearing the retiree utter an anti-regime slur while in his allotment in Giggleswick. I was telling Fred that he had a cabbage white getting ready to lay its eggs on his runners, mused the bewildered septuagenarian and father of four. I said to Fred, look, you don't want to kill it, so flick the bean instead, he explained. PC Colic overheard the exchange and immediately pushed her 5'2" frame to the extreme limits of a light jog. I could tell immediately that Grabnut was a racist Brexiteer gammon, and nothing, apart from a small gate, would stop me from arresting this hateful, bigoted individual, she said, before tripping over a nightstick and then accidentally tasering herself. So that was a new story from the last month, mate. So yeah,
It's
all good
very
stuff, isn't it?
Here we'll have a couple of Scotsmen on the chat with a no
Yeah,
chance.
bring them in.
No chance. Stick in the chat. I'll see if I can actually fucking find a way to see it. But stick in the chat if you're happy to come in. Who else did we get with a Steve Cray? And there's an opinionated Scotsman on there.
I sent No Chance the StreamYard on Telegram.
No chance. If you want to come in, feel free to jump in because we're short of Scotsmen and we could do a balancing this out. And our normal Scotsman's missing. Time to get cracking. Steve, see, I wish I could. I'm seeing comments now and I can't flip and bring them up on the screen. But Steve Cray saying it's time to get cracking, Scotsman. Other than that, let's see. Yes, I have stories. I have a cracking story. You'll like this. Not a lot, like, but these are people that found themselves on a jury and managed to get themselves convicted for being on the jury, which is quite a good trick. Jurors sentenced for contacting men they have just convicted because they felt sorry for them. 2 jurors have been sentenced themselves after they contacted 2 men they had found guilty of drug offences just hours before because they felt sorry for them. Derby Crown Court heard that Greg Matthews and Catherine Davies were members of a jury which convicted the 2 men at the same court. Having handed down the verdict, some of the jurors went drinking afterwards, were feeling guilty about their decisions. Matthews and Davies hunted for both the men on social media and made direct contact with them, which is against the law. They disclosed their secret jury deliberations, which led to the men appealing their sentences at the Court of Appeal, costing the taxpayer thousands of pounds. Handing both of them suspended sentences, Judge Sean Smith, KC, said, the top and bottom of it was that you felt sorry for the defendants after having had a drink and in your own befuddled way did what you did, but I have to put my other hat on and tell you it's a very serious offence. Ultimately, the reason people are charged with this offence is to deter other jurors from taking the same steps. Every time I swear a jury in, I tell them that they can get into trouble for doing certain things, but I don't think even in your wildest nightmares, rather than your dreams, you would have considered what the financial cost of the Court of Appeal for this kind of behaviour entailed. Top appeal judge, the King's Counsel, the Junior Counsel, just incredible consequences of your disobedience. The prosecutor, Sarah Allen, said Greg Matthews, 30, from Alton, and Catherine Davies, 26, from Darley Abbott, sat on their just for the 6-week trial in autumn 2021. She said Matthews decided to contact one of the defendants over Snapchat, and Davies contacted a second defendant saying she was in the pub all afternoon and began a flirtatious conversation. So basically, she wanted to buck the person she just convicted. Matters came too late when one of the defendants told his solicitor the following day. As a result of their actions, 3 defendants appealed their sentences at the Court of Appeal in London, but they were unsuccessful. Matthews and Davies both pleaded guilty to intentionally disclosing jury deliberations and were handed 4 months suspended sentences for a year. They were also told to carry out 200 hours of unpaid work each. Justin Abbott, representing Matthews, said that his client is autistic and that a trick cyclist report had been prepared on his behalf. William Bennett, representing Davies, said despite these ongoing legal proceedings, his client had kept her job, which involves dealing with would-be parents having screenings to find out if their unborn children may have any life-changing conditions. That's pretty much the end of that. So what do you make of that, Sansom? I think the whole world's gone mad. Sansom, have I lost you now?
Sorry, mate. I was just reading the comments in the chat.
All right.
Is it opinionated Scotsman's in the chat and he says he'll come on? Is it okay if I drop the link in the main chat, because I've only got no chance. Well, I've got a few people's directs, but
I'll stick it in the chat now.
All right, yeah, in the YouTube chat, yeah. So, but yeah, this one here, this to me, you know, why if they felt that bad and that sort, I mean, did they do what they were meant to do, and you know, convicted them on the evidence?
Yeah.
Because if they did, then what's to feel sorry about? You know, you convict people on the evidence, or I mean, even so, you do have a lot of, but basically, a lot of trials, you know, are even though they shouldn't be. A lot of trials are won and lost on the emotional aspect of what the prosecutor and the defense lawyers can bring to the table. So even then, if it was again, you know, if technically, you know, they might be thinking to themselves, you know, a bit like the old Les Miserables, you know, Jean Valjean stealing a loaf to feed his kids. Yeah, he technically was in the wrong, but you're not going to convict them. So if it was one of those ones, then their conscience, they should have been clear of conscience and acquitted them. However, you know, to give that verdict and then try and contact these people to sort of you know, appease and apologize. And I wonder if there was some kind of, you know, do we know the name of the perps, or, you know, did they have a exactly? So I reckon there's probably a bit of multi-culti going on there, potentially.
No,
I
think the woman has sat looking at the guy for the 6 weeks of trial, thinking I would check him, and then after the trial was done, she thought, yeah, I'll give him a. And she'll have a couple of drinks.
Yeah, maybe, or either that, or, you know, the old yeah. Well, I suppose it's very similar to that sort of Stockholm syndrome, isn't it? You know, it's plus also, let's face it. I mean, I've been my eyes open the last few months or so with that, with people like the Joker and that. They don't really. A lot of ladies, they don't like the nice, kind, honest, decent blokes. They go for the, you know, the nasty boys, and then when the wall kicks in, they that's when they start looking for, you know, instead of Mr. Right Now sort of thing, when the clock starts ticking. Anyway, I'll let your guests come in now, mate.
Opinion on Scotsman. What about you, chum?
Not much, yourself.
Doing good. Glad to have a full complement of the active union back on the stream. So thanks very much for coming in at late notice.
No problem.
Yeah, we'll basically just have a look at some of the weirder stories from the month and take the piss out of them. Pretty much it. That's the brief. So there you go. What do you make about the jurors?
Yeah, corrupt. Probably just like most of them are corrupt.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Right. Nah. I'll have a look and see what our Sansom. Was there any of the ones that you put in the chat that you're particularly wanting to look at?
There was one that I thought that that DJ might have run with, to be honest, but he's obviously he's not here. But it was it's probably a bit too bloody, a bit too wordy or whatever for the mainstay. But it was this thing by the Free Speech Union. I don't know if you've heard of those.
Yes.
Those guys. They're doing decent stuff at the moment. And this came out literally yesterday. And it was an overview of this new con that's coming out called carbon literacy tracing. And I don't know if you've heard of that. This is the new scam that's going to be out and about, that they're going to start pushing on the workplace, etc. I don't know if you've heard of that. Have you heard of that? The carbon literacy training. That's
No.
the new scam. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll give it a quick scadge. We'll go through a bit.
Yep.
Let me see.
Do you have a link?
I do. Hold on a second. Here we go. See if I make that a bit bigger for people. Have you got that up?
Right. There we go.
So this is by Thomas Harris, who's I think he's one of the spokesperson and one of the person who's involved with the Free Speech Union. And this is this new, like I say, you've got to be careful because it's going to be all, like how diversity, inclusivity, and all that shit was King of the Hill 3 or 4 years ago. Well, this is the latest one now because everything's switched from wokery to climate and that kind of bullshit. It's going to be this carbon literacy training. So we'll get down to the nitty. Carbon literacy training has led to the creation of over 67,000 carbon literate citizens. I don't know what that means. I haven't got a clue. And 191 carbon literate organizations as certified by the Carbon Literacy Project. Now, that's just some made-up fucking place, some company that just appeared out of nowhere, probably funded by all of the usual people who you know about these things, who have decided they're going to produce some kind of bollock certification that didn't exist until they thought about it in the Reds. And now this is going to be the next big thing to get forced onto companies and people and all that malarkey. And this could end up being one of these compulsory pieces of shit. So the Free Speech Union is concerned that training enforces a particular view on climate change and maybe introducing a new form of compelled speech, much like the woke bullshit, like on the degeneracy and deviancy of the LGBTXYZ nonsense, into workplaces. We believe that certification schemes like the one overseen by the Carbon Literacy Project, which is a bollocks made-up company, what is their legitimacy? Yeah, if you look at their site, they're just buzzword central. What is their scientific legitimacy? And what is their right to demand that people become so-called carbon literate? Well, once again, they have to get it in now, quick, didn't it? So to get it, because the key for these idiots will be, let's get it into schools, because then it becomes wrote by proxy, doesn't it? If you get it in the schools, kids grow up believing this bullshit, and then you're knackered. Anyway, that's done that one there. So the training takes it for granted. Oh, here we go. Let me go down there. Blah, 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 blah. Between the financial year and September the 21st and September 21 and September 22, the Carbon Literacy Programme's income grew from 183,000 to 637,000, an increase of nearly 250%, and that's only going to trend upwards. The training takes it for granted that we're in the midst of a climate emergency and recommends that employees embrace various radical solutions, including net zero. Well, that was about fucking no. Carbon literacy training is often embedded within organizations' broader ESG, environmental, social, and governance strategy. Absolute hateful bastards. I mean, you can tell straight away it's just going to be a pile of shite. It's all this shit's all about control, isn't it? That's all that this stuff's all about. It doesn't matter if it's COVID, immigration, and you think of anything that comes out from the government, anything at all, or anything that's being pushed by these non-elected government organisations sort of shit, the NGOs. It's all about pushing control for the elites, the globalists.
Yep.
Anyway, Free Speech Union is concerned that the carbon literacy training will be embedding a new form of compelled speech in the British workplaces. While it's indisputable that average global temperatures have increased since the mid-19th century, because they only went from 1960 onwards, because going from 1930 makes it a little bit uncomfortable, because guess what, folks? A lot fucking hotter in the 1930s. That's the uncomfortable truth. But anyway.
Oh, and the 1920s.
Yeah, people hold.
It was also hot in the 70s as well, but I'm too young to remember that. So
yeah, yes, and also don't forget that the only reason why Michael E. Mann's hockey stick was the way it was is because all of a sudden, overnight, NASA decided to revise their temperature ratings, and then it made the hockey stick work. Oh,
yeah,
right.
Definitely do not look up ClimateGate emails and find out about the conspiracy to change the temperatures. Don't be doing that, people. The people in power don't want you doing that. They would rather you didn't have that information.
Yeah, well, the reality of that one, which was from the University of East Anglia, was that they had uncomfortable data, and they said, yeah, but this one set of data really doesn't match the stuff that you're looking for. Oh, well, we'll take it out then. What? I'm sorry. And do you know what that data was, mate? This is God's honest truth. The only data that can't be corrupted by silly models and also like model adjustments, and also by urban encroachment. In other words, things getting built up and more concrete and roads, etc., which automatically then retain a higher ambient temperature than the norm. So if you had a temperature gauge from 30 years ago that was in the back of Beyonds, it was in a wooded area, and that's been cleared and they've built houses there 30 years later, that'll give an ambient temperature appearance something like 2 degrees warmer than normal, purely because all of the concrete around it acts like a storage heater.
Oh, or if you're developing your airport and you leave a thermometer exactly where it is, and you build a nice little rectangle around it to make sure that it can stay where it is. That.
But the uncomfortable data that wouldn't fit the narrative and couldn't be manipulated was tree ring data, which is infallible. It can't be wrong.
Well, that's what they did.
Yeah.
They measured the temperatures around airports and said, oh, like we're like 40 degrees or whatever.
Yeah. But the real stuff, the stuff that still actually is forested, because it's where you get the tree ring data from, that can't be corrupted by urban encroachment and modelling statistics and all that lot, because people have been studying this phenomena for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and have got it pretty down pat as to how hot and how cold things were around the globe. It was tree ring data, and the University of East Anglia said, yeah, this shit doesn't really match what we want to push. Oh, well, we just won't put it, we just won't include it in. Those were the emails. And they say, oh, well, it wouldn't have mattered. Well, if it wouldn't have mattered, include the data. Include the data. If it didn't matter, include the data. Evil bastards. Yeah, anyway, what else have they got in here? Let's see. So what is carbon literacy training? I bet you can't wait. Here's another one. So you've got the Carbon Literacy Project, but now you've got the Carbon Literacy Trust, which is a charity. And we all know what kind of fucking shady financial shit goes on in the name of charity, shall we say. Carbon Literacy Trust is a charitable incorporated organisation, or CIO, formed in Manchester in April 2014, and is usually referred to as the Carbon Literacy Project. It defines carbon literacy as an awareness of the carbon costs and impacts on everyday activities, and the ability and motivation to reduce emissions on an individual, community, and organizational basis. Basically, we want to commodify and digitize every single thing in your life, every single action that you do, so that we can make you pay for it using carbon credits. Evil, evil bastards. Evil bastards. Carbon literacy is an accredited training system. Accredited by who? It's a bollocks notion produced by a company with no fucking scientific standing whatsoever, even though one of the bloke in there is a doctor. He's probably a doctor of fucking philosophy or something like that. Is run by CLP and can lead to accreditation of an individual certified as a carbon literate or as an organization. And the problem is they'll all be, because it's part of this ESG bullshit, they'll all be fucking clamoring to get on board with this. CLOs are rated by CLP as platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. And you know they're all going to go for platinum, which means it's going to be as egregious as you can possibly make it. What the fuck is that? Yeah, fuck you, government. Yeah, because that was, I've lost my place now. Fucking government links. Anyway. So you know it's all square because it takes you to all of the government fucking shit that's around it, because they're all on board with this bollocks, aren't they? Where are we? More waffle. Any more. Here we go. Look at this here. The growth in the number of carbon literate citizens and literate organizations. So this thing's basically been going around about 6 years. Look at this now. And it's growing exponentially. Look, that's not a straight line. That's curving. So next year it'll be even higher. It's just going to end up everywhere. It's going to be like white dog shit like old dog shit on a white carpet. It's going to get everywhere, isn't it? Look at the state of this. Carbon literate citizens. The individual section of CLP's website claims that over 67,000 citizens, idiots I call them, are now certified as carbon literate. It also contains the following statement and suggests that those who've received this training are better citizens and are more desirable employees, says you. I mean, this is, once again, it's just got all of those, what is it, the nudge tactics and social engineering bullshit all over it, hasn't it? Do you see what I mean? This,
Right.
yeah.
I'm not be surprised if this does eventually end up in schools as well.
Well, that's what they want. If they get it in the kids, we've lost already because they'll believe it, you know.
Have you seen how joined up and connected and organized all this bullshit is?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You see, check this out. This is a thing that I came across.
And the whole regime literally infests absolutely everything.
Oh, right. This should be, check this out up. Right, yep. This here, join the climate movement.
I'll join the climate bowel movement.
Right. Patagonia Action Works. Find a strike near you. This is an interactive map that tells you where all the climate strikes are. Oh, fuck me. They all seem to be America and Europe. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be a problem anywhere. That's America, South America, Australia, Europe. Yep. Now, the organizations you can join to make an impact: ban private jets, stop fossil fuel subsidies. Something in Spanish, I think. Act for transparency of ship fuel controls. Ask Bamford MPs to take action for warm homes. Ask Bamford, they kill on twice. Say yes to more time for slow travel. That's going to be all that 20 mile an hour stuff in low transport neighborhoods. Something in French. Friends of the Earth England tell Leicestershire local government pension scheme to ditch fossil fuels. call Hampshire County Council to stop using gasofiers, whatever the fuck they are. Tell Mayor Tracy Badgen and her team to meet the climate pledges. And these are all petitions, right? So these people, these fuckers have got nothing better than to do their day than to collate all these fucking petitions and sign all these petitions and stuck Oxfordshire's Road to Ruin. Who decided it was a road to ruin? Probably fucking them. And this just goes on and on and on. Stop greenwashing, reduce air traffic. The level of, and then you can find environmental groups near you. It just fucking.
That just shows the power of organised minority, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, fucking. You know, the bit that boils my piss is that these are not the normal average day people. These are probably 78% of the population that are very organized, have got contacts and have experience in running campaigns, and they're all obviously fucking either. Some are going to be unemployed. Some of them are going to be civil servants. Some of them are going to be NGOs, which means we're paying for this bullshit. And all day, every day, try to fuck up our country on the basis of the climate. Do you know what? Anybody that thinks that we've got that it's getting too warm in Britain hasn't been outside. It has pissed with rain every bastard day in Belfast, Northern Ireland, from the start of July. We haven't had one dry day. I was listening to a thing on the radio the day whenever I was coming back from dropping MG down, and the farmers were saying, yeah, we're having real problems with our crops. We need a few dry days to be able to get the crops in and the grass cut for to make the hay and all that sort of stuff. And in the meantime, all we're getting is fucking climate change, climate change, climate change. It's fucking mad. Scotsman, what's your opinion?
That's pretty much exactly what you say, to be honest. The whole thing is just, it's all just bollocks.
Yeah. Oh fuck. Yeah. Well, mal. Fuck it. I don't know. Meantime, I'm gonna find where's my recents? Here we go. Where the fuck is it? Right. Yeah. Right, here we go. Share screen. Yeah, this sort of sums up my opinion on the whole thing. There you go.
Well, yeah, but I think there's also a deeper meaning to that, to the just stop oil and all those other retards. There's like, I think they're useful idiots, but they don't realize they're useful idiots. I think they're there to like clamp down on protests and things like that.
Well, all these climate activists arrived strangely at the same time that the Berlin Wall went down. What happened was they were all they were all pro-communist, and they were protesting and arguing for the unilateral nuclear disarmament. Just the West give away, take down all their nukes, leave the Russians with theirs, and also for the takedown of the Berlin Wall. And once the Berlin Wall had came down, they had nothing to campaign for, and they swapped to climate. It's where most of them all came from. I
guess it makes sense because a lot of them are like a bit older as well. Like it's very rare, like you'd see like a young person and just stop oil.
yeah. There, yeah, it boils my piss at times.
Well, the way I always look at anything that the regime's doing is I don't even bother anymore. I just look at something. Doesn't matter what the story could be. Like you've got aliens there. There was another meme that was out which said, "I kind of believed aliens might exist until the government told me they did."
Yeah,
Which is the same thing. And once again, it doesn't matter what the story is. Like all of these mysterious fires which occur in Hawaii, but don't burn any of the billionaires' properties, which is just a freak of nature, clearly. And turning the water off really helps putting fires out. We won't sound the alarms because you might panic. All these unreasonable things. I don't understand what the ordinary Hawaiian people, the indigenous Hawaiian people, shall we say, literally in this case, that were hogging all of this prime real estate that have got grubby billionaires rubbing their hands all over.
but the Hawaiian government, prior to these fires, the Hawaiian government was losing a war against feral fucking rabbits.
Really?
Yep, I shit you not. It was either rabbits or chickens. It was one of those two. In fact, I think it was actually chickens because they had all these feral chickens that were living in the wild, and they were going. Actually, I'm thinking it was rabbits, right? But they were growing in the wild. Then they were burrowing under people's houses and fucking digging things up and destroying fences and stuff. And because Hawaii is extremely, extremely liberal, the one thing they weren't allowed to do was to kill or cull the feral animals. And so they had to be caught with humane traps. So set up the humane traps whereby the animal would be alive the next day and somebody could come and take it out. And the Hawaiians that lived in the place were going around springing all the fucking traps so that they couldn't catch the animals that were causing all the problems. It's fucking nuts. And whenever you can't deal with rabbits or chickens or whichever those two it was, I don't think you're going to do too well against a fucking fire.
Oh well, yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It could be like I say, it could be the fires in, it could be the fires in Hawaii. It could be climate change bullshit in general. Anything you want. COVID, 15-minute cities, or convenience. Central bank digital currency doesn't matter. They're all of these narratives are all intertwined with one another. So all you have to do, rather than think about the actual item itself, is to just think, how can they use this to control me more? What's the end game? How will they be able to push a narrative that means that I lose just a little bit less freedom of my life that they can take over and control or annex in some way? As long as you look at it in those frames there and frame it in those terms, then you can never be wrong because all paths leads back to the globalist agenda.
Oh, there's none of this bullshit is about what they say it's about. None of it. It's what they do is they find an agenda that they can put. They find an agenda that they can push that Johnny Normie is going to go along with, and then they find a way to make it do what it is they want to happen. It's I don't know, and see all the normies that go along with it. They're taking us to hell in the handcart, and particularly the ones that actually can see what's going on, but they refuse to admit that they can see it. That's exactly where our problem is.
I think normies are just cheap, to be honest. I think they just go with whatever they're told. I think most people are just like that, unfortunately. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I
think
agree, mate. I do agree because 2 years of 2 weeks to flatten the curve proved that. And I keep on saying this, and this really winds me up. This annoys me more than anything else. Statistically, when you looked at that whole bullshittery those 2 years, there was probably about between 5 and 10% of people who said this is all fucking bullshit. We might have given you half a chance sort of the first couple of weeks, but it was pretty clear after that this was just bullshit, and it wasn't Captain Trips off the stand by Stephen King. This is just going to be like, I don't know what it is, but it's a bit like a bit of a fucking cold, and it was provable. We had all the data in, that bloody cruise vessel in Italy that rocked up. That was a human petri. It literally was a human petri dish. We knew the stats from that straight away, and those stats haven't been broken yet. So we got that crap, yeah. So there was, I wouldn't say it was 10%, but it was definitely more than 5. There was a core of people like us who was calling truth to power and saying this is fucking bullshit. It's just a power grab. Has fuck all to do with the virus and all that bullshit. You're just trying it on, you fuckers. But similarly, there was probably a good, 20%, 25% of people who, generally were all on board with the regime and were scared to death and thought it was, worse than the Black Death and all this kind of crap. So between us, we probably had around about 30%, which means that 70% of the people, knew it was just bullshit, but went along anyway just to get along. Those are the fuckers I hate the most. Those are the twats that caused all that shit.
There is evidence of there's solid evidence for that, because we recently had the numbers out of the sexually transmitted diseases during 21 and 22, which were held back for quite a while, and they dipped by something around about, I think it was 25%. The numbers reduced by a quarter. Now, here's the thing. You're not getting any sexually transmitted disease from 6 feet away. It's just not going to happen. And one of two things was going to happen. Either that number was going to go down to naught, and we were going to have no new cases because nobody's meeting new partners during that whole period, or everybody's going to go on with their life as privately as they can without getting caught. And that's why we only had a small dip in the STI cases. And the other thing is, see if the NHS and the government had a thought everybody was obeying the rules, those gun clinics that were dealing with all those people would have been closed. But they stayed open.
They would have also closed the borders as well and let fewer immigrants in, but they clearly didn't.
Oh, fuck. The first time you needed a passport coming in this country was whenever you wanted to go to a bastard pub.
Yep.
Come from Somalia to Great Britain, yeah, that's fine. We're very interested in who you are whenever you want to go in for a fucking hamburger and chips and a pint. Oh, yes. This is doing my head in because I can't get the
chat.
I can't get the chat up to onto the screen. But Michael Pagan says PCR pandemic. Will I tell you something? I had to get a negative test to go out for dinner with my family at Christmas, and I got the test kit for free from the chemist. Took the kit out of the box. On that box, there was a serial number. Texted the serial number to the NHS and wrote the word negative. And within 2 minutes, I had a text message back saying, you have registered a negative test with the NHS. And on the basis back of that, I was allowed to go in with the great and the good inside the restaurant. Now, see if you really think this is a nasty pandemic. You create a way where it's possible to do that without actually taking the bastard test.
Well, that's another thing. The tests were also bullshit. Like a PCR test was never designed to like test for an infectious disease. It was a research tool.
Yeah.
So a positive PCR test means pretty much fuck all. It just means you might have something. But they counted it as a COVID, as a positive for COVID, so that's why the cases were so high.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts.
I think initially with it, I was on the fence of it, but I think the first thing was when I realized how they counted the deaths for like Italy, and then I realized, well, that's probably the same for just about everywhere. So this is just bullshit.
That's brilliant.
Yes, I've had my main brain back on. You expect more, really?
There's another one. Did you ever see the other one? Who'd have thought that? Is Kyle Rittenhouse a Jedi because he managed to take out 2 pedos and a bloody sex offender in 3 shots?
Here, he hit the person. He hit the person who was who had choked his partner or somebody, a relative. I think it was actually his grandmother. The person that got done for choking somebody, he hit him in the throat. The person that the sex offender, he shot him in the nuts. And the thief that he got in the arm, you couldn't fucking. Those bullets were dipped in some sort of. There was angels guiding that.
Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah, I do enjoy. I did enjoy seeing the original footage before it was edited, and that of the one shot in the nuts, moaning in his own piss and shit. That was particularly righteous, in my opinion. Fuck it. Anyway, but yeah. Martin W in the chat was saying, like, he said you used to go in a pub, wear a mask to the bar, get your drink, but when you sit down, you can take it off. Exactly. All of these bullshitteries, that 70%, the 70% that cost it for the rest of us, the normal people, just by complying, and it's no different to, how the fuck did a virus know the difference between a bag of crisps and a 3-course meal? How it's just ridiculous, and people just bought it because they were that. By the time it got round to that kind of shit, people had been so nudged, and the behavioural psychologists and social engineers have worked their magic so well. People, like I say, literally went on with it. But the thing, even to this day, like I say, I know people who even now are still all on board with what the regime did, and that's their belief, and fair enough. I don't agree with it, but at least they did believe it, or they still do believe it. But the ones that do my jaffers in, and I actually do say to them, "Oh, thanks, because of you, we were all fucked for 2 years then," and they get all uppity and, what do you mean by that then? I said, yeah, because I said you went all along with it. You went on with your furlough. You went, well, everybody else was doing, yeah, but it wasn't a fucking, you're paying for it now though, aren't you? Prices twice as much as what they used to be and all that shit. Yeah, well done. Because like I say, it was going, the same people, February of last year, once Putin invaded Ukraine and that cured COVID, it did overnight. It cured COVID overnight, didn't it? But they're bringing it back in now because the people's sort of appetite for the Ukraine bullshit's wearing off now. Oh, quick, we need to get a new variant on. Oh, actually, I've actually got a story about the new variant as well, which I can.
Oh, yes,
share.
true that up. That we can go to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did seem like within like a day they stopped, like, because before that they were saying like, oh, the vaccinated must die and stuff like that, but now it's like they pretty much stopped it and no one said anything.
Yeah, all the unvaccinated people are running about still alive and pissing people off.
Yeah, we were
You
supposed
know?
to be factories for like variants and stuff as well. That never happened.
Fuck a current bomb.
So here's another story. This is about COVID, and it's a bit of a boxing because there's a big match on tonight. The results in. If you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it for you. But if you're interested in the boxing, Uzek fight tonight that was on. So yeah, but here's another one. This is coming in from the Current Bun, celebrity news and gossip. Holyfield versus Convid in image rights bout. So here we've got Evander Holyfield, and you can see that picture there. Former champ Evander Holyfield gives Convid the side eye ahead of the bout. Former four-time world heavyweight champion boxer Evander Holyfield is set to fight Convid over image rights infringement concerns after the virus's latest BA.6 comeback was branded the real deal. The world knows there is only one real deal, and that's not this punk virus, the former champ said. If it wants to be the real deal, then it's going to have to beat the real deal, exclaimed the agitator boxer at his Georgia mansion. Dr. Anthony Fauci, speaking on behalf of the virus, stated, Holyfield is a has-been, an old man, and we all know what Convid can do to these old guys. The virus was unavailable to comment at its Surrey-based Michelin star cafe. So there's a completely and utterly real story from the old Current Bun. So yeah.
Well, it's not any less true than the mainstream media, I suppose.
Do you know what? See the likes of the Current Bun and that other one. There's actually quite a good chance that if you give it 6 months a year, that their stories will actually be the news. Fuck.
Well, we have got a climate one to finish with, which was quite sad, actually. You know, nobody likes to hear about, poor things with climate, because it's all real climate change.
Oh fuck!
Oh, did you see the latest one off old what's his socks? What the fuck is his name? Oh, it's him who goes at the end. It's absolutely crucial that you sign up. What's he called? Fuck me now. Watson, Paul J. Watson. Him. Did you see his latest one about the straws? Oh, you're talking about these straws, yeah? Because did you see that one opinionated? Yeah.
Yeah, with the paper straws that actually more harmful than the plastic one. And the fact they go with poison or something.
What?
The poisonous?
What, the paper straws?
Yeah. Apparently, the stuff they used to make it doesn't, so it's like resistant to water. It's poisonous, apparently.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
So they're 10 times worse than the thing that they were meant to replace to save the environment. 10 times worse for the environment.
Because that's never happened before. Something that these do-gooders have put in place has never fucked up before. Like,
oh man, I tell you, you could literally couldn't make it up, could you? Just leave. It's not a lot to ask, is it? But can you just leave me the fuck alone? I'd like to start a political party which literally was called "Just Leave Me the Fuck Alone" party. Why'd you constantly have to be in my face and telling me that I need to do this and I need to do that and I need to do this and I need to do that and I need to do this and I need to do and listen, mush. I work for a living. I pay me fucking taxes begrudgingly. Since our income tax was just a temporary thing after the First World War. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah.
There's nothing as permanent as a temporary government measure.
Exactly. So, here's my agreement with you, the government. All I'm concerned about is, is the roads working? No, they're not at the moment anyway. But your function as a government should be, do the roads work? Have we got safe borders? No, we haven't got safe borders anymore. Unlucky. But literally, it should be, do the roads work? Have we got the right infrastructure to look after our own people? Trade deals with, fair and reasonable trade deals with foreign things. We were not going to interfere in any fucking shit that they want to go up to. That's their fucking business. If they want to sell us shit for a reasonable price and they want to buy shit from us at a reasonable price, happy to speak to you. But outside of that, fuck off. As far as I'm concerned, I've paid my taxes. I've done my bit. Now, please, will you fuck right off? Just leave me the fuck alone. I don't want to be constantly badgered about, oh, did you know about how much fuel you put in? No, I don't give a fuck. Sometimes I want to go over here one day. I want to go over there another day. I might want to have a fag today. I'm going to have a fucking pint. I'm going to eat some red fucking meat. It's none of your fucking business now. Fuck off. But unfortunately, that's the problem that we've got now, because they can't not keep on pushing you. And if you want to be somebody who doesn't want, just literally, I don't want to be, I'm not interested, I just want fuck all to do with it, they will get to you any way they can. So they'll do it through the workforce. They can't get at you directly, so they'll do it through your workforce. I'm not interested in your bullshit on LGBT, trans, YZK, fucking S, whatever, right? You can shove it up your ass, literally, although you'd probably fucking enjoy it. But I'm saying is, I'm not interested in that shit. Right, well, let's start forcing all the fucking companies to do it. So he will get a taste of it at some point. And the worst of that is, which is the same as this, story about the climate literate citizen, is they call them tests, but it's not a test, because they won't allow you to input the wrong answer. So you've got a picture or some words, and you've got 4 options, and it says, do you think that burning coal and all this crap is good for your country? Yes, fucking is. Press. Oh, we think you might have made the wrong fucking answer there. Do you want to try again? No. I don't want to fucking try again. Oh, well, you see, the thing is, this test is compulsory and you need to complete it. Otherwise, you won't be able to get your course. And only people who've completed this course are allowed to work here. That's literally what they did with that LGBT shit in one of the places I was at. And that was when I was a scumbag contractor. I says, but I'm a contractor. I shouldn't be, everybody has to do this shit. And it wouldn't let you pick the wrong answer, because it was one like, this fucking grottler with an Adam's apple the size of Bruce Lee's punch bag. Gloria needs additional time because with having hormone replacement therapy, they sometimes get the palpitations, so they need a little bit extra time to adjust. Do you think it's no? Because Gloria's a fucking man. He's a man. No. Oh, we think you might have picked the wrong choice. Do you want to pick a different one? No. Oh, well, we're not going to let you progress until you've selected the actual answer, which is Glory's a wonderful woman in our office and she really needs to have that little bit extra. Fuck off, cunts. I hate you all, you twats. Well, that's what they're going to do with this carbon literacy bullshit. Now it's going to be, what do you think is the best way to maintain a sustainable energy source for your country? Coal and gas? Yes. No, won't let you have that one. Okay, well, nuclear then. No, won't let you have. Oh, fuck. Well, what's left? There's nothing left. What's this one here? No. Oh, because we think solar panels that give loads of energy in the summer and fuck all in winter, and fans that may or may not be fucking turning, is the ideal way to go. And that's the only way you can... No, fuck off. If they want you to take a test, they should allow you to make the answer, choose the answers that you want, and if you don't give them what they think is the right thing, it shouldn't have any bearing or mark or whatsoever on anything to do with your employment, because once again, this is just fucking bullshit. Fuck off.
Do you want an example? Do you want an example of how thick people are? Like this is next level. Yeah, this is next level stupid. Actually, I'm going to zoom that and just zoom out just a little bit. Right. The Bank of Ireland glitch, which led to customers withdrawing more money than they had in their accounts, affected Northern Ireland customers as well as those in the Republic of Ireland, but there were no reports of ATM raids in Northern Ireland. You have to fucking fix these people's words. The Bank of Ireland has apologised after a technical issue affected its services that led to large queues at banks, ATMs, in parts of the Republic of Ireland last night. As word spread on social media that people could withdraw cash despite not having funds in their account. Garda Síochána said it was aware of unusual volumes of activity at the ATMs. In Northern Ireland, there are 13 branches of the bank, yet with external ATMs. The Bank of Ireland said its app and online services are working again this morning, Wednesday, and any transfers or withdrawals taken out during the outage will appear in their accounts today. It has informed customers who withdrew more cash than was in their accounts that this would appear as an overdraft and encourage those who find themselves in financial difficulty as a result of the fault to get in touch. Bank of Ireland spokesman said he had spokesperson, as had there been activity in ATMs in Northern Ireland similar to what happened in the Republic of Ireland, said, yes, we had a technical issue affected. Right, that's just talking about it didn't happen in Northern Ireland. So basically what happened was the Bank of Ireland had a glitch. It was letting people take out more money than they had, and now those people are all surprised that the money that they got out of the ATM that they didn't have isn't fucking free. They thought because the bank had given it that they weren't going to have to pay it back at all. It was just free money, and then they all queued up to take out as much as they could.
See, for me, it would depend how much it is, though. Like, if it's like €5 or €10 or whatever, fine. But it was like hundreds of pounds, surely, like hundreds of euros, you would have noticed. It's obviously not your money.
Yeah. No. Well, fuck the machine giver, right? They were like, yeah, we can just. I mean, like, this is the level of fucking stupidity that we've got rolling about. You know, it's they didn't reckon that the bank had a record of how much people took out, and they were going to fucking put you in the overdraft. And fuck, like, please, people, just don't be stupid. Could we have that? Could we have the general citizenship just not being stupid for like a week?
No, it's not going to happen.
Oh fuck. And there's you like see all these scientists and doctors and medical people that believe see if you've got a doctor that thinks that women can have a prostate exam because she filled in some bits of paper. You need a different doctor. It's just not physically possible. And I swear to fuck, see all these people that started off as male and filled in some paperwork and then get letters for a cervical smear. I would make sure that person didn't leave without one and just put the smear equipment up the Jap's eye and see how they like it, because I don't think it'll come back for a second one.
Honestly, I think people like that are just going with their flow, but they're just going with what they're told just to keep their job. Remember years ago, like Lauren Southern did a video where she basically just said, like, "Oh, I feel like a man."
Yep.
And then they pretty much just gave her the documentation, no questions asked, that she was a man.
It was a Canadian driver's license. They changed the gender in that, and she walked in looking exactly like herself in high heels with long hair, clearly a woman, and says, "I want this. I want this changed to male." And they were like, "Right, yeah, work away."
Yeah, and this was like 2015, 2016, so it's probably got a lot worse since then.
I'm going to say that was 2015, because I was quite, actually, no, you're probably right, 2016. I was very active in the men's rights community whenever that was going down, and Lauren was doing her whole fucking thought thing. Yes. Don't get me started by talking about her. But yeah, it was very easy for her to just get that changed over. Because fucking who was that? Was Sanson put that one in the chat? There's next story. It's fucking this one's barking. Share screen. Here we go. This week in right, hold on. Do I have that one from the same story from the newsletter without that? One sec, we'll change that link out. No, that's right. We're just going to have to live with that thing that says free trial. A veterinary nurse has been suspended for 3 months after giving strong, unprescribed drugs meant for animals to a friend, describing them as a cocktail of dreams. Melanie Herdman was reported by the friend after the incident. After Mrs. Herdman had started a relationship with the friend's husband, a professional tribunal heard. So, right, well, I'll continue the story and then I'll give a comment. The woman, named only as Mrs. LC, in the hearing, had asked Mrs. Herdman for the drugs to ease the severe pain experienced by her husband. Text message showed the conversation between the two women, who were long-standing family friends, discussing how Mrs. LC's husband's current medication was ineffective. I have a broken husband. Mrs. LC's message to veterinary nurse saying, I have a broken husband. I think he needs your special cocktail. I've given him grabdatine and codeine, but he's needing the extra element. Mrs. Herdman responded by saying she could provide her friend's husband with diazepam and tramadol, which are both prescription-only drugs. Mrs. LC replied, tramadol's not working anymore, but diazepam will knock him out. Later on, Mrs. Herdman messaged her friend saying, I left the drugs for grumpy hours. Forgot to say the max dose are 10 milligram diazepam 3 times a day. Mrs. Herdman dropped a box of diazepam to Miss LC's house, which she had at home as a result of a prescription for her pet dog, Rigby. She included additional information about the dosage and insisted in the tribunal she did not provide tramadol and only supplied diazepam, a drug used to treat anxiety and muscle spasms and seizures or fits. 5 months later, Mrs. LC reported the woman for supplying the drugs and told the tribunal she had come to reflect on the damage that could have been done to a veterinary practice when the dispensing of controlled drugs was not properly managed. So, bitch A says to bitch B that, can you get me some drugs? Bitch B says, okay, I'll get you them. Gives him the bitch A for her husband. Bitch B then starts shagging bitch A's husband, and that bitch decides to take it to reflects on and says, we may have done something wrong here. Miss LC said she was aware she was not without fault and she had asked for the drugs, and was also aware that reporting the incident might be regarded as sour grapes, as her husband was now in a relationship with Miss Herdman. Miss LC told the disciplinary hearing she had become desperate about the extent of the pain was impacting her husband's well-being. The Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons Committee was told diazepam can be fatal. As a nurse, Mrs. Herdman was not entitled to prescribe the drug even to animals, with it falling to veterinary surgeons instead. Mrs. Herdman said, I understand that the actions undertaken by me were irrational and completely irresponsible. they could have caused severe consequences, as I did not have any training or authority to advise on the use of the drugs that I did. The veterinary nurse, who has practiced for 17 years and worked at Gedlin Vets in Berwick, Northumberland, also recognised she had made a massive error of judgment and said it would not happen again. The disciplinary committee suspended her for 3 months, stating it is a period which is sufficient to mark the gravity of the misconduct while taking into account the circumstances in which it arose. Gentlemen, your thoughts?
I don't want to say other than what a fucking idiot, basically.
I was waiting for the part where you were going to read out it was the man's fault. Because that's usually what happens, isn't it? It's usually the man's fault.
Well, she only claimed partial fault to it, so I guess she is kind of blaming the man at the same time as well.
Well, if she hadn't had a broken husband, she wouldn't have asked for any drugs in the first place, and the two would be fine. So, yeah, it pretty much is the man's fault, right enough.
Yeah, don't be broken.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like I say, I'm quite naive in some respects and quite world weary in others, but I have no exposure to horrible women, well, outside of, professional work and stuff. And even then, I have to say, pretty much every lady I've worked with has been great. I just, well, from a professional perspective, I don't know what they're like at home or anything, but I've never not gotten on with the women I've worked with. They've all been great. And similarly, like I say, my mum was straight down the middle. Her sister, my auntie, my great auntie, my nana was really lovely. My nana on my dad's side was lovely. So I've just, missus, I've never encountered these horrible women, and I think I must have this golden streak, because when you see some of those videos, it literally is like it's like, yeah, you're really awful people, aren't you? Some of you.
The girl who squealed, she only did so because her friend had ended up running off with her husband. I think there's a bit of jealousy involved there, and she just decided, oh, I've got something on you, so I'm going to take it to the. But the only thing is, like, diazepam is basically Valium. It had a brand name change, and see, whenever I was growing up, the phrase "Do you want a wee Valium sandwich" was a genuine question and a regular phrase, because pretty much, like, I would say 80% of women in Belfast were on Valium during the 70s. It was just given out like sweeties. So I possibly have a bit of a resistance to a bit of an odd theory about how bad giving somebody a couple of Valium is, because whenever I was growing up, that was very normalized. Like, my aunt took a Valium to do her driving test to calm her nerves. It was just of that time. Everybody was just on Valium.
I remember, like, up until like a few years ago, it was still pretty popular. I remember, like, I had a friend who took like 20 of them and was fucked for like a week.
Yeah.
Also heard stories of a guy who jumped out his window while he was on Valium.
Well, I've heard that same story, only it was acid, because he thought he could fly.
No, but this guy literally just, I think it was when I was like a teenager. He got locked in his bedroom by his parents.
Well, all right.
Through his window.
I decided he was getting out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the whole crux of that story is the woman just got a bit jealous or wanted her own back because the husband was fucked off, and
That
they
sounds like
decided,
it.
yeah, I have an opportunity to take it down, and I'm using it.
Well, I can kind of understand it because it's a kind of shitty thing to do, cheat on someone.
Well, it wasn't that they were caught sneaking about. Although having said that, we haven't actually started. I don't know, but it seems that the man was with his wife, stopped being with his wife, started a relationship with the other one. Although having said that, that might be because they were caught fucking shagging about. I don't know.
Yeah.
We will never get to the bottom of that one.
No.
Yeah.
That's like the kind of thing that might have been on Jeremy Kyle a few years ago, but that's
Yeah.
cancelled now.
Yes. I'm not. I think Jeremy, as much as I think that a lot of the issues that were talked about on Jeremy Kyle needed brought to light, I don't think that the method in which he did it was really helpful. To me, seemed to be preying on very vulnerable people.
Oh, the man's a fucking scumbag. There's no question of that.
You know, the social issues that he was bringing up were genuine. You know, but the way he went about it, he definitely profited from the plight of people that did not really need their life to be put on television.
He's also a massive hypocrite as well. He cheated on his wife like multiple times.
Yeah, that wouldn't help the whole situation.
And he's a coward. I remember once where like he was like screaming in this guy's face and then hid behind this big security guard.
Oh yeah,
Fucking coward.
yeah. It's easy to be very controversial and say exactly what you want whenever you've got somebody else to do your to provide security whenever the punches start coming in.
Yep.
Let's see.
Yeah, and he was a gambling addict as well.
Was I? I
Well,
don't.
that's what Martin W. is saying.
Yeah, I've just seen that one from Martin W. People, hopefully next week I'll have this sorted out and I'll be able to get all these comments back up on the screen.
Yeah, it froze for me on the stream as well, but the YouTube's working fine.
Yeah, the YouTube one, but I normally use the StreamYard to put the comments up on the screen, but that just cannot happen in it. I'm going to have to YouTube and see where this happens and see if we can get it fixed.
What's that?
Is that one you've just put in, Sanson?
I've put one in, yeah. There was one that was in the back burner, I don't know.
Oh, the woke fires hits Royal Navy.
Yeah. Yeah. This was another one that came from, you know, was noted by the Free Speech Union. It was, I'll zoom in a bit so you don't have to look at the advert. Oh, there we go. So woke virus hits Royal Navy as officers are taught to question their white privilege. Navy HQ's divisional officers and troop commanders briefing notes issued officers should recognise and appreciate the lived experience of those types in their team. Oh, look at that. There's an emblem. You know, it used to mean something.
Oh,
What, mate?
talking about white privilege in the Royal Navy, the moment any slave set foot on a Royal Naval vessel was the moment they became free.
Yes, exactly.
These are the people that sailed the seven seas whenever the sailing was actually done with real sails, and it was a bit dangerous out there, and a lot of ships had cannons and were quite free to use them, and the Royal Navy would board vessels, take off slaves, put them onto their own vessel, and make them free men. But white privilege seems the white privilege is the. It seems that the white privilege is to go around fixing the rest of the world's fuck ups.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, anyway, so Royal Navy officers are being taught to question their white privilege and make sure they use the right pronouns to avoid offending the ratings. Rantings, it should be rantings.
Yeah, if you're that easily offended, you shouldn't be in the fucking Royal Navy in the first place.
Yep.
Whoa, hold on, mate. What's this shit here? Yeah, you shut up, mate, wherever you are. Who's this fucker? Anyway, the Navy HQ's divisional officers and troop commanders' briefing notes issued this summer urges them to routinely share their chosen pronouns, suggesting this could be an act of allyship. They should avoid you saying, "Good morning, guys." Instead, using the gender-neutral term of everyone on a team. Hey, team. That sounds so fucking lame, doesn't it? You know, I don't think anybody minds, do they? I mean, come on.
But
no.
See for the first 2 weeks in the recruiting process for anybody in the armed forces, everybody's pronouns the same. Everybody's called gobshite or something similar.
Well, yeah, but it's just like, it's just not. What is this shit here? Why is this fucking creepy looking bastard following me? Fuck off. DJ's there saying, "Hey, no, tell him you get that." No, I'm not getting a fucking ad blocker. Fuck you. No. Anyway.
You probably should get an ad blocker. It helps a lot.
No. I'm not getting an ad blocker. Fuck off. I'm a boomer. Fuck you. I'm not doing ad blockers. It's like beta blockers, but for internet. Anyway, it suggests anyway, isn't ad blockers racist these days? Or is it anti-climate?
But it works, so I don't care.
Anyway, yeah, but the thing is though, right, every now and again, right, and this is the reason why I leave them on, every now and again, you get 29 of the coolest gadgets for this 2023, and I particularly want this electronic cock ring. So there you go. I wouldn't have seen that had I not had my adverts on. And I will be getting this electronic cock ring. So there you go. It suggests doing so will prevent people from feeling discriminated against, explaining we should leave the business of disheartening and alienating our own people to the enemy. We're probably sat there pissing themselves laughing. We should, under no circumstances, do their job for them. Addressing the issue of white privilege, the note leader, look at the muttons. They say, what, fair play on the muttons there, youth. Great muttons there, youth. Still allowed to have them. Oh, good mutton there as well. Address the issue of white privilege. The notes say leaders, the vast majority who are white males, need to understand how race, class, gender, and other aspects impact on a person's identity to recognise and appreciate the lived experience in those team. Well, you see, Carruthers, Captain Jakes, he was a wonderful captain, you see. What made him wonderful? Was he great in battle? No, even better. Always called me by my right pronouns each day. Yes, he was a great captain. Of course, first major conflict we're in, he got blown out of the fucking water. But I always remember, he always used my pronouns on a daily basis. He was a great chap, yes. Anyway.
I thought you know he was a he.
Well, I'm just assuming on it. I missed that class that day. Anyway, it added, sometimes people complain that this is all about identity politics. It's about control and flexing, so fuck you. And that these ideas are demonizing, particularly young white men. Yes, 100% it is. This is not the intention of engaging with ideas of privilege and intersectionality, but it is about demonizing young white men. Fuck you. However, it does mean that before you voice your opinion on another person, you should stop to think about whether you have the right to speak about them from a position of no direct expertise and consider whether your behavior is contributing to or alleviating their existing disadvantage. Yeah, I'm not into R-sex. How do you know? You've never had it. Yeah, don't really think I would want to know anything about that. Thank you. It's not for me. You know, I enjoy a good shite, and that's on the way out. On the way back, not for me. So there's me speaking from a position of not having any experience whatsoever. Fuck you. It goes on. The term white privilege has been talked about in the context of Black Lives Matter protests. It refers to the idea that skin colour can affect your lived experience such that it can give you an advantage or be a barrier to almost all areas of life. Therefore, if you are white, whatever situation you're in, it is almost always the case that the outcome has not been affected by your skin. Fuck you, you fucking twat. I mean, this is awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Privilege in this case doesn't mean that you have special advantages. It simply means that you don't have the disadvantages associated with having a dark skin tone. What? Being over-promoted in every fucking aspect of our lives these days. I wish it fucking was an advantage. Fuck you, cockwombles. If you are white, it also means that you may not even be aware of the disadvantages that Black and minority ethnic people experience. What being used? No, anyway, this April, 10.6% of the Navy's regular forces were women, and 5.1% self-identified as being from a minority background. An anonymous serviceman said, many service personnel are angry, confused, and insulted through all of the conflicting bullshit that we throw at them on a day. Oh, no, it doesn't say that bit. Although few will formally complain as this language has become commonplace. UK Armed Forces recruits across the Commonwealth shouldn't do, whilst pulling together as one. No. Far more so in Civvy Street. This demonstrates a worrying politicisation and lack of leadership to stand up to these views we have been compelled to speak. Toby Young of the Free Speech Union said, go on, Toby. The woke mind virus has infected every branch of Britain's armed forces, including the Royal Navy. Yes, it won't be long there before the white ensign is replaced with a pride flag and Her Majesty's ship Queen Elizabeth is renamed Her Majesty's ship Meghan Markle. If I was a Falkland Islander, I'd be thinking very seriously about relocating. Yeah, too fucking right. Ministry of Defence spokesman said, the Royal Navy is entirely focused on protecting the UK and its interests. Doing a great job on the Kent coastline, aren't you, you fuckers? You know, you don't even need fucking cruise missiles. You just need a big fucking bin. Useless. Anyway.
Yeah,
it is important.
Fucking bin.
Yeah. It's important to encourage personnel to be mindful of inclusivity and diversity. However, this guidance is being reviewed. Yeah, I'll tell you what should be done. It should be thrown in the fucking bin. Anyway, there you go. That's just my unpopular opinion, obviously.
God help us if these people actually get into a naval battle.
I know. Whoop, whoop. Torpedoes coming. Oh, is my lipstick straight? Shit. Come on. Unbelievable.
We've got fucking. We've just took. We've just took a hit to the fucking port bar. We need somebody in there to plug up the hole. Sorry, can't.
Literally.
Yeah. Sorry, can't. I'm identifying as a clerk today. You know, what the fuck? This place, this stuff has got no place in an active military.
No.
It's got no place anywhere.
No.
Well, I'll agree with you. It has no place anywhere, but really, yeah. What's your job? Your job is to find and kill the enemy. I do not want these people being touchy-feely. I want these people being hard bastards that are good at finding and killing the enemy. You know, I want their. You know, these people need to have a thick skin.
Yeah. Oh God. Did you load the howitzer? Oh no, I might chip a nail. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is why China and Russia think that we're fucking weak, though. Because shit like this.
Yeah, exactly. They honestly, they must be pissing themselves. You know, if you're, was it Xi Jinping and Pootie Tang, and even you know the African militias now, they're probably 10 times better than us in a scrap these days. You know, we used to laugh at them being bloody, Keystone Cops, bloody militias and shit like that. They probably kick us to shit these days. We're that fucking woke and bullshittery. It's just, unbelievable.
And not only that, the reduction in the actual size of the army is fucking scary.
Well, they always are promoting recruitment drives, but all of the advertising that they push is all to do with either arse banditry, the alphabet people, or fucking diversity. And by diversity it means basically we want everybody to join the RAF, or we want everybody to join the Royal Marine Commandos, apart from straight white males. You mean the most effective force? Shut up, you. That's bigoted and it's anti-climate. Oh, okay. Thanks. It's just fuck off.
We've went from yea, though I walk through the valley of death, I shall fear no evil, for I carry a big stick and I am the biggest, baddest, meanest motherfucker in the valley, to yea, though I walk through the valley of death, I shall fear no evil, because I carry a red lipstick and my mincing looks good. What the
I'll tell you.
I'll tell you something else. The orgies are getting uppity.
Well, like I say, it was only the other week when was it the EU started referring to the Falklands as the Malvinas again? Bastards.
Yes, they have.
Yeah,
and
fuckers.
we don't have a task force to send down there anymore.
No. Well, yeah. Like I say, just once again, it's just and they won't care. That the problem I have with our government is that they're all on board with America pushing the bloody Ukraine bullshittery and not really allowing any kind of negotiation to happen. Certainly not early on when it was a nice money spinner for them. The number of talks that could have taken place that were brokered both by Russia initially to, let's have talks, let's get around the table,
Oh, the deal was done.
Well, it was, and they sent Bojo the Clown out to scupper it. Yeah.
Yep.
So he scuppered that one. Xi then put an offer on the table, and green screen Zelensky was, it's not too bad. And the Americans like, you fucking don't you fucking dare. Oh, well, no. All the way. Oh, okay. And then a month later, his parents mysteriously have an £8 million pad in Tel Aviv. Yeah, cheers, thanks. You know what I mean? It's just, it's completely transparent. The corruption, and the net effect is, whether it's Russian or whether it's Ukrainian, European young fighting stock European men are being obliterated, and that's not good for anybody. I mean, we literally are 8%. They keep on talking about diversity and minority. We are the fucking minority. We're 8% of the fucking planet. You know what I mean? We can't be losing all of these, European stock men, because when that happens, what's going to happen? As soon as whatever happens, whichever way that war goes, whether or not the Crimea region or the Donbass region, wherever it is, becomes part of Russia or is administered by, becomes technically part of Ukraine, but is administered by Russia, blah, blah, blah. Whatever way they dice that deal, it doesn't really matter. The first words out of green screen Zelensky's mouth, which will be his instructions from above, will be, well, because we've lost so many men and we need to rebuild the country, Africa, can you come in, please, and do the same kind of shitty job you've done to most of Europe, especially the UK, Germany, and Sweden, with all that obliteration. That's literally what will happen. And it annoys me because even though every word out of all those traitors in Westminster is, and in Holyrood and in everywhere, we support you, Ukraine, or we must be defending this, defending that. If the Argies did say, right, well, we're going back in there again, we would probably say, we'll fetch our people home. Right, where are you going to put them? I know there's not a lot of them, but where the fuck are you going to put them? Because last time I checked, every single place that you could put them in was full of fucking illegals that shouldn't even be here. And that's not including the 1 million extra fucking legals that you bring in every 2 years, you fuckers. You know what I mean? Unbelievable. They wouldn't care. They'd just say, well, actually, we've came to a diplomatic agreement now. Because, once again, there are no leaders. They're not leaders. They're just administrators now of a landmass. They get their orders from on high, and they take their 30 pieces of silver. They are all traitors, and they all need to be thrown out as criminals, in my opinion.
See, I think the amount of immigration from the third world and stuff is a punishment for Brexit.
Yeah, we are getting it. And the type of Brexit that we've got is bullshit. It's absolute. We're starting to get the stuff in the shelves starting to come through. It says not for consumption in Europe. We're getting different labeling from the rest of the United Kingdom now.
Yeah, because Northern Ireland's been completely fucked over by it.
Oh, yeah. Although, having said that, they're well on their way to starting a civil war here.
Well, from what I've heard, the Civil War never really end.
Oh, it doesn't end. It has peaks and troughs. Peaks and troughs, peaks and troughs. We have times where it's more violent, times whenever it's less violent. It's currently less violent, not non-violent, because we've had petrol bombs thrown at the police in Londonderry recently. We've had burning barricades in Londonderry, which you probably don't get to hear about on the mainland.
No, we don't.
And in Belfast, the situation is extremely tense, and it's like the Simon Garfunkel song "Kodachrome."
No.
It's one of the lines is when I think of all the crap I learned in high school, it's a wonder I can think it all. But my lack of education hasn't helped me. I can read the writing on the wall. Well, the writing on the wall in right across Belfast has changed recently. There's been signs put up, went up simultaneously, north, south, and west Belfast. The possible or north, south, and east Belfast didn't go up in West Belfast because that's all nationalist. The possibility of a return to violence is very probable. Went up everywhere. There's no EU scrawled on the walls, and if they do actually get round to putting in border checks for goods and stuff in Northern Ireland, not a place where I would want a job, because the people working on that place, they have got a very short life expectancy. And I think that the people in London and the people in Dublin don't really realise how far they have pushed this. But the people living in the working class areas know exactly what way this is going. It's looking very not good. And we could be, well, the other thing is they'll have to prefix expect the Good Friday Agreement, the peace deal, was the biggest load of bullshit that you've ever seen in your life. The deal itself is bad. Nobody likes it. For about the past 7 or 8 years, the general consensus within the working class unionist areas is that the deal should be null and void by now, because so much of the stuff that was in it just hasn't came to fruition. Plus, we also found out that the terrorists got pardons, which we were never consulted about. Everybody reckons that deal's done. It's over. And needs to be replaced. So, I don't know. The Irish government and the EU, and to a lesser extent the Conservatives, haven't need to realise how close they are to making everything go boom over here again, because it's close.
I think you literally had terrorists running your country at one point, didn't you?
Oh, we still do. We still do. We have, yeah. There's people in our government, and there's people in your government from Sinn Féin who are elected to Parliament, although they don't take their seat, that are convicted terrorists.
I knew that, but there was also like terrorists in Stormont as well, wasn't there?
Yep. Oh yes. They're like pretty much everybody with a mandate, and everybody that's been elected in Sinn Féin has either terrorist convictions or are known to be terrorists. We just didn't manage to get the conviction for. We had an election in, I think it was South Armagh, where one of the people that was standing was somebody that was should have been killed. Miraculously didn't get killed. Whenever his minibus going back from work was stopped, and they separated the Protestants and the Catholics, and they shot all the Protestants. Somehow he must have been somebody on top of him. He was shot a couple of times, but he's still alive. And he said that the person who did the shooting was, I can't remember what the cunt's name was, but the guy that got shot was standing in an election against the guy that shot him. And the Sinn Féin person won. And the other thing is, which should be a wake up for you, is because You hear all your life that all these black people are just ordinary, decent people that don't want any trouble. You definitely hear it about the Muslims. Ordinary, decent Muslims don't want anything to do with terrorism, don't want anything to do with ISIS or whatever. The vast majority of them want nothing to do with it. And we heard exactly that same story. Ordinary, decent Catholics don't want anything to do with Sinn Féin, don't want anything to do with the IRA. Well, you know what? You still fucking vote for them. And this is something that needs to be figured out, that where you have a mono block of people that have got terrorists at the top of it, they're all going to be part of it because they will end up voting for the terrorists. And the other thing is, whenever you get down to the very bottom of it, how terrorism works, the first thing you have to do is terrorize your native population. You need to terrorize the people that you say you're standing up for to make sure that they know not to fucking squeal on you. And then, and only then, whenever you've got control of this, control of the area you're working out of, then you can start to do stuff. So, whether by fear or whether through, that's what their allegiance is. Your average Muslim is in one way or other supporting the terrorist groups that we've got that work out of the British country, in the exact same way that the general Irish nationalist population in Northern Ireland support the IRA via Sinn Féin. And you can take that to the fucking bank, because you don't get to be the largest political party without the votes, and you don't get that without the support of the people. And the only reason why Sinn Féin are where they are is because they were terrorists. Early 1970s, they come out and they said they were going to fight with a ballot box in one hand and an armour light in the other, and they have continued to do that. The IRA Army Council still up and running. Sinn Féin still part of that Army Council. They are still terrorists. They haven't changed. They've and in the Sinn Féin bookshop, which is probably now online, used to be a physical building in the Falls Road. They sell a book called The Devil's Dictionary, and in that dictionary, it defines peace as a period of cheating between two periods of war. And that's what we're currently at. We're currently in a period of cheating between two periods of war. It's coming back. We don't know exactly when, but this whole Brexit thing could well be the litmus, the touch paper that starts it all off. And here off ends my rant.
I think it's also obvious that they've also just been completely co-opted by the globalists as well. It's not a nationalist movement.
Oh, fuck no. Whoa. Not co-opted. Not co-opted. The Irish Republican Army have never been Irish nationalists. They have been communists from the beginning. The main aim of the Irish Republican Army is the creation of a one-party socialist state within the island of Ireland. That's where they were whenever they started in 1969. That's where they still are. They, Jerry Adams's autobiography, first line. The first thing you need to understand is I am not an Irish nationalist. I am a communist. You know, these people are open about it whenever you actually start to dig into it and read it. Now, they are a little bit cagey about what they tell their own minions, but it's, you know, the people that they're hooking in to go and actually do the dirty work. Probably a bit quiet about telling them that at the very start, but in the upper reaches and the policy making things, it's not about Irish nationalism. It's about communism. And the other thing is, what the fuck type of Irish nationalist gives away their currency, wants to import foreigners, wants to give control of their country and their laws and their rules to the European Union. It doesn't make sense if you're genuinely a nationalist.
Yeah, the SNP did the same thing. Yeah.
Yep. SNP and the SNP followed Sinn Féin's policies at the start, and then they went further. And what happens is SNP tries to get a bit more woke. Sinn Féin tries to outstretch them. Then the SNP doesn't. Now, the SNP have the ability to get better results because they have total control of Hollywood, and they can bring in their laws and they'll pass whatever. Whereas Sinn Féin are still doing it partially by stealth, but it's an absolute fucking shit show. And like Clyde Plumrie or those Welsh wankers, they are pretty much the same. It's and none of them are actual nationalists. None of them want what's best for their country. None of them want what's best for their people. All of them are more interested in fucking outsiders than they are about their own people, and they are all basically communist, along with the Green Party. Well, at least with the Green Party, you can say it's like watermelon, green on the outside and red on the inside. You can't really make that quip so much about the other two, but it's the same fucking thing.
I think Alex Salmon was actually very close with like Jerry Adams. Like way back in the 70s, he would often attend their dinners and stuff, and he was the reason why the SNP are the way they are right now. He started that shit with the 79 group.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. You know. And while we started, while I'm on it, 1969, whenever the Irish nationalists started agitating for civil rights under the guise of one man, one vote, which is what their first campaign was, one man, one vote. Small minor detail, Representation of the People Act 1921 gave voting rights to all people in Britain over the age of 21, basically. So they've had one man, one vote for like 50 fucking years before they come out with that, but they started that in 1969. Also in 1969, ETA was formed, the Basque separatists in Spain. Also in 1969, the Quebec supremacist movement began in Quebec, Canada. Also in 1969, French students went on a rampage and tried to take down the French government, took over about 4 city blocks of Paris for 4 days. And the other thing that happened was the Tet Offensive began. Now, the people who organised the civil rights in Northern Ireland, the people who organised the ETA in Spain, the people who organised the Quebec, the Quebec people, the people who organised the French students, and people from the Viet Cong were all at a communist international conference in France in 1968, where they were all told to go fucking agitate in their own country and rise up individually in all the countries. And the idea was for this to be pretty much a worldwide communist uprising to overthrow all the governments. And that's where that comes from. It's fucking, they have conned the Irish people for so long. It's fucking, oh, hold on, I need to mute myself. Sorry, I needed to cough there. But It was fucking mad. Maddening.
Yeah, not surprised.
Oh, fuck. So that's another rant out of the way. Oh, God. Right. What else do we want to talk about, lads?
Well, I've got one last story. Well, go on, mate. You have a go.
I was just saying I don't have anything on my head right now.
Well, I was just going to say, I'll share one last story, and what's better than a diversity and inclusivity story? What's better than one of those?
Just about anything else.
Well, no, it's a diversity and inclusivity story that also includes climate change. So here we go. These stories are all real, by the way. This is coming in from our good newspaper, the Financial Twats. Hand-rubbing news for over 200 years, since 1802. And here's the big headline: diversity kills polar bears, not climate. So there you go.
Is that Diane Abbott in the photo?
No, that's Chalky. Chalky was the first shaved polar bear to be found dead in Alaska. Top researchers today released damning figures which show that hundreds of polar bears have died from exposure after having been shaved for the sake of diversity. Dr. You Ain't Send Me Right, so you ain't seen me right, recipient of the 2021 Stormzy Science Scholarship, found that the current population of polar bears were too white. You see, polar bears are actually black. It is only their oppressive fur which makes them white. We decided to free 200 polar bears from their oppression by shaving them and allowing them to enjoy their innate beauty just as nature intended, explained Dr. Seen Me Right. When asked if she thought that the fur may have served any other additional purpose other than oppression for the bear, the scientist simply shrugged and claimed that it was merely part and parcel of living in a diverse and multicultural Arctic polar bear population. So there you go, poor old Chalky. He was shaved for the sake of diversity and died from exposure. So there you go. There's always a silver lining, though, isn't there? These
Sounds legit. The thing about it is, I wouldn't put that past these wankers. It's a type of bull. Their solution to everything seems to make everything worse. I've no idea where. Well, I'll tell you, because I used to always think that the people running the country were incompetent, but it's gone way past that. And I think science has went past being incompetent, because most of the stuff that they do is just on the face of it. You can look at it and go, yeah, no, there's something not right here.
Honestly, I don't even think it is incompetence. I think they're like a well-oiled machine in acting like what they're told to fairly well for the most part.
You know something, mate? I am in 100% agreement with what you say there, because just by the law of averages, if they were incompetent, then by fluke of accident, they would actually do something right for once. Every now and again, they would get something right just through fluke of accident. The fact that they do everything in their power to shit all over us, to push us down, to make our lives worse and worse day on day. It is malevolence. It is nothing more than pure malevolence and orchestrated on a far higher plane that these fuckers operate on. Let me put it that way. In other words, when I say that, what I'm saying is the likes of your Rishi Sunaks and all those fuckers, Joe Bidens and all them lot, they're about 4 rungs removed away from where the real power lies. And we all know where that lies at the end. It's, in fact, I did a stream on it a couple of weeks back with Alex Pierce of The Last Jacobites. And, she did a presentation, probably, well over a month ago now. Because I was just listening to it in the background, because I was listening to it from Telegram whilst I was looking at other stuff, so it was on in the background. And she just started talking about different stuff. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I had written down. So we compared and contrasted notes, and we weren't that far off from one another. And like I say, the people who are in charge, whether it's a Justin Trudeau, just look at COVID, for instance, yeah. So the majority of that, I mean, I know Trump was in power at the start there. He's a fucking failure. So you've got Creepy Joe, you've got Justin Trudeau, you've got Choppers Ardern down there in bloody New Zealand. You've got our limp-wristed bunch of wank stains in Westminster, and all of the various other satellites in the Western, the Western wider Anglosphere. And they all received their same orders from on high. So, yep. To think that they are leaders of any kind of country now is just a fallacy. It's just fakery. What they are is managers of a landmass, and they don't care who occupies that landmass anymore. That's why borders don't care to these fucking demons.
Yeah. What the World Health Organization just told them what to do, and they ruled out whatever the World Health Organization said.
What the flip-flop World Health Organization, they were like the okie dokie, weren't they? You do this today, but not tomorrow. This today, tomorrow, everybody else. You do the okie dokie. I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous.
They actually promoted glory holes for safe sex.
yeah, exactly. There's another one. You've got viruses that understand, culinary fucking geniuses because they know the difference between a bag of crisps and a 3-course meal. And let's get more glory holes going, to keep the fucking deviants happy while lockdowns go. What the fuck is going on?
No, they said glory holes was a method of having sex without transmitting COVID. Whenever I see it,
I'll tell you something now, which I've forgotten about. Now you've just, I don't know why this is reminding me, but do you remember? I don't know if you saw this, but this was so cruel, so malevolent. It was evil. It was pure evil, dressed up as being, aren't we being kind and nice and lovely? And it was a woman, probably, I would say, in her 30s. I'm not very good at judging people's ages, visiting her parents. But obviously, because of the old COVID, what they'd done is they had the washing line.
Yep.
And they hung this like plastic fucking shit over the washing line, and they were hugging each other through the plastic sheet. But they were doing this, aren't we wonderful? It's like,
was that this morning? I think it was Holly and Phil.
Yeah, they had like plastic arms, like you would. That you would get in if you're working with stuff inside a tank that's got something in it that's hazardous to health or whatever. It can't be touched, and they put it inside the tank, and you put your hand in through these extended gloves, and you work with it. It fucking sick. Absolutely,
it was though,
sick.
wasn't it? But the way that they frame it, though, that's the real malevolence there, because you and I can see this. This is fucking sick. I tell you what, just walk around that plastic sheet and give your fucking daughter a hug. Fuck's sake. Yeah.
Here's the other thing. See, whenever the start of
Unbelievable.
the 7 o'clock clap on a Thursday or whatever it was, right? And I seen the TV thing, watching it, and was going, yeah, this is going to take off. And right enough, it did. But you know the bit that really amazed me? It took them 2 days to get that to stop. They put on one person on BBC that was supposedly the person that started it, one person on ITV that was supposedly the person that started it, and they both said, yeah, it's time for us to stop this. And fuck me, right across the country, it just stopped dead that day. And I was like, that's impressive. That's next level fucking mind control.
So it's like fucking anything. It's like I was saying earlier, like the vaccines, like all the COVID stuff just stopped pretty much overnight. Same with BLM, same with numerous other things.
BLM's coming back.
I mean, I have a theory with that. It probably will come back. It always seems to come back around whenever there's a US election.
Yes.
It always seems to come back.
Yes, that's exactly why. It's going to come back because there's an American election, and that's also why there's a new COVID one on the way, because they need those postal ballots.
Yeah, because that's, like I say, that's the only way they win, by rigging the most free and election ever. I mean, Joe Biden, the most popular president in all time ever. I mean, did you see him? He went over to Hawaii to give those poor bastards. He took a fortnight to get there, but when he eventually did, he did rock up, and they're talking about, and this has happened, and we lost our, we lost our kids, and all. It's going through absolute pain that you hope you would never wish on, even on your worst enemy. And there's Creepy Joe copying a quick snooze during it. Did you see that? Did you see old Creepy Joe having a fucking slide? And he's like, well, yeah, well, man, the thing. Come on, man. He fucking fell asleep. He fell asleep when you had all these people pouring their hearts out.
I'm not surprised. He's like 200 years old or something.
Fuck. See, whenever the bodies of the soldiers were coming back from Afghanistan after they fucked up the withdrawal, he checked his watch 4 fucking times.
Yeah.
He was out on the runway to see the dead soldiers being brought back. He checked his watch 4 fucking times.
And I'll tell you something else for the old magatards and Q-tards out there. This week the Yanks had their hustings, didn't they? Did you see that? They had the GOP fucking nominees and everything in there, like Ron DeSantis and this Vivek Ramaswamy or whatever. He was the poster boy, wasn't he, Vivek Ramaswamy? Because if you can only have somebody saying all the right things who may come across as being a bit based if they're foreign. You can't have one of your people saying that, because that would be racist. Fucking unbelievable. Yep. Well, counterpoint to that was Trump's interview at exactly the same time. So when Fox aired the GOP hustings for the like the nominee sort of thing to become the candidate to become president of the United States, Carlson and Trump. Tucker Carlson did an hour-long or whatever it was interview with Donald Trump on Twitter to sort of, because he said, Trump, I'm not doing that shit anymore. So, because why would I do that? They're just going to talk about crap and all that. But Trump, in fairness, in that interview with Tucker Carlson, absolutely fucking useless. Useless, talking about old ground and old shit and stuff that nobody cares about. All the energy he wants to expend on flogging dead horses is just talking those same dead old points, because unfortunately what may have seemed quite risky and based in 2015, now everybody knows you can't, anybody who knows, who's on our side of the picture, if you like, you can't regurgitate those same talking points and gain any ground because it's already been too far lost. You need to literally say, no, this time we really are going to build a fucking wall, a proper one. You know, we are going to do something about all these illegals. We're going to do something about this. We're going to start throwing the fuckers out. But they won't do that, will they? Because we all know who they're all beholden to. So the one edgy character in that entire escapade, whether it was Trump and Tucker and whether it was on the GOP, was the Indian guy. So, yeah, America, you can have all the things that you said as long as you vote for an Indian guy. You know, and I don't dislike that Vivek character for 1 minute whatsoever. But what I'm saying is, right, you know, you're not allowed to have any fucker in your own country nowadays that represents you, or, you know, who you can't trust not to do the dirty on you in the long run and say, yeah, fuck it, I'm going with my lot. You know, that's the thing that does my jaffers in. Yeah. And like I say, you like to think they may have the best interests at heart. You can't trust the fuckers, because every single time where we've been decent, we've been kind, and we've been, you know, like I say, our kindness and decency has been weaponized against us to the point where now, because of our kindness and decency, it's been, and the balance is tipping, they want to eradicate us off the face of the fucking planet. That's literally where it's going.
Well, we as a people have confused kindness for weakness. And as opposed to being kind, we're being weak.
Well, yeah, originally we were kind, but once, like I say, once we got the odd chippy fucker, shall we say, they should have been slapped down straight away and said, look, mush, you know, you should have no fucking say. But instead, we didn't do that because, once again, you got to think on. The people who you see in power are not the people who are wielding the power under the scenes. And those are the fuckers that you need to be calling out. That's the reason why all this shit happens. Like I say, there's the hidden... Hey, what you say, mate?
His dual loyalty is like a Hamza Yusuf, for example. He says his roots are in the seeds of Pakistan or some bullshit.
Yeah.
So obviously he doesn't give a fuck about Scotland.
No.
I doubt Ramaswamy cares about America.
Well, yeah, but, you know, yeah, well, like I say, you know, that's the thing. But that's the problem. That's always been the problem, because the writing was always on the wall. You know, as soon as you give them a foothold in your power bases, whether or not it's in high-ranking civil service positions, governments, or the judiciary, at some point in time, you know, they will use that against you. You know, they'll say, right, well, you know, the balance is tipped. This is our country now, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's, like I say, that is the $64,000 question. And it's an uncomfortable one because, like I say, we were a kind, decent, and respectable people. You know, we were always treat people kindly. And people say, oh, well, it was racist in the 50s. Yeah, there might have been the odd person who was racist in the 50s, 60s, 70s. But that wasn't the majority. The majority of ordinary British people were, you know, they may well not have wanted it or agreed with it, but they tolerated it. In other words, they were tolerant of individuals. And because of their sense of fairness and their sense of decency, they wouldn't go out of their way to make people feel uncomfortable. Unfortunately, that has been weaponized against us. And now it has been translated, as 42 rightly says, into a weakness. And that weakness is now being pushed at every single level, in every single institution and every single age group, but especially at our children. And all I would say is this, you know, if these demons, you know, these so-called demons get their way, or not the demons at the top, obviously, but the deluded ones, the people who they think they're pushing it against the man, but they're doing the man's bidding. In other words, the likes of your BLM and all that crap, yeah? Well, fair enough. Let's say you win. Let's say you eradicate us off the face of the planet. You know, good job. Who are you going to have there to do all the fucking work and pay for it all? Because that's basically what you've been living off for the last fucking, what now? And eventually, this entire fucking country will turn back to the fucking savannah with fucking lions and shit going on, you know, because there'll be nobody around to fucking maintain the civilization that was built in the first place. Fuckers.
Yeah. Right. We're coming up to 1:10.
Okay,
Done
mate.
2.5 hours. I'm thinking about starting to wrap this up, unless you two gentlemen have got stuff you want to talk about.
No, well, I haven't, mate. I don't know about opinionated, but
Yep.
I think it would be a good time to play us out with that cracking tune if you were thinking about wrapping up, mate.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yep.
Smashing.
Well, I'm going to get some music on. Before that, Sansom, opinionated, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's the first time I've actually spoke to you and never really got around that. But thanks very much for coming on. I've really enjoyed talking to you. Sansom, as always, great guest. Thank you very much. I'm going to get some music up and play the outro. And here we go.
Hello, this is 42 speaking. Welcome to the Resistance. You are not alone, and we shall walk this journey together. What about you, Sean? If one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. Let us gather together those that can perform, and from the scarce timbers build our own platform. From that grand house they tried to burn down, there's gold in the ashes if you look around. Let us gather together those that can perform, then from those scarce timbers build our own platform. Build our own platform. We will sing words of wisdom. We will sing world. Harmony, melody, and rhyme. We descended from minstrels in old days of yore. We will create a culture as we did once before. Forced to stand by as our country was sold. Did you really think we'd leave that story untold? So one brings a guitar and one brings a voice. Then they stand together and make their own choice. They have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. They have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. To stand by as our country was sold. Did you really think we'd leave that story untold? We will sing words of wisdom. We will sing we will sing harmony, melody, rhyme. Harmony, melody, and rhyme. So one brings a guitar and one brings a voice. then they stand together and make their own choice. I have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. With power and wealth, you control the mainstream, but you never realized you could not kill a dream. So we will gather together those that can perform, and from the scarred timbers build our own platform. You're talking to 42. What about you, chum? If one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. We will sing words of wisdom, we will sing for all time. We will sing for our people, harmony, melody, and rhyme. We will sing words of wisdom, we will sing for all time. We will sing for our people with the ancient trilogy of harmony, melody, rhyme. We create a large society through family, God, and tribe. The gods of water, air, and land brought us through the land. The earth, the moon, the sun, each became a deity in the parts of another trilogy. Is it a coincidence or is it just a blind that we now bring in excellence in harmony, melody, and rhyme? With power and wealth, you control the mainstream, but you never realized you could not kill a dream. You cannot kill a dream. And we shall walk this journey together.
Okay, everybody. Samson's been Samson. Opinion Scotsman has been opinion of Scotsman. I have been 42, and you lot in the chat have been fucking amazing as always. Thank you. Good night. God bless. I'm out of here. Gone. Bye bye.